spinoff from UC Davis, OneBio chops up polysaccharides into odorless, colorless and tasteless fibers that can be added to foods at very high inclusion rates. Tell me a bit about the origin story of the business and the original kind of motivation, because I understand that the idea was developing a tool enabling you to kind of characterize fibers, and then it turned out your tech was kind of scalable as a means to actually produce them.
Yeah,
as well.
Absolutely. It's a super fun story because our founding co-scientists, after figuring out that there was a particular microbe that with a particular carbohydrate would feed newborns in a way that dramatically eradicated infant mortality, they said to themselves, well, what about all of the other few thousand microbes and all of their foods in the other 80 years of human life? And then they went to the literature and they were like, oh gosh, no one's ever done this work before, so there isn't a characterization of all these different fibers, the foods of the microbes, since dietary fiber is the fuel of these microbes. And so then they were like, well, what if we do that? So they put together a mass spec platform, but then they had to develop all kinds of tools and methods to try to do it. And so that's what we, the team of OneBio, ended up doing.
And this was the team at UC Davis?
Yes, this was UC Davis. Yeah. And my co-founder, Matt Barnard, while he was doing his PhD work at UC Davis, is the one who kind of led this work and figured it out. And figured out how to break these fibers down into short chain fibers. Because as it turns out, it is the short chain form of the parent fiber that the microbes take in. Because in the body, different combinations of 60,000 enzymes, some of them produced by the microbes themselves.
And they're chopping up these
They chop them up, They chop up these fibers into smaller forms that they can actually take in and do their work that we need. And so we had to develop, our team developed, Matt and team developed this process to chop them down or release them into short chain form. And then they were like, oh my gosh, we have something here that's more than an analytical tool. We actually have a process that allows us to incorporate short chain fibers across the food chain.
So can you talk briefly about how you're actually cutting up these polysaccharides into smaller bits?
Instead of using an enzymatic process, we found another way to take the parent fibers. And remember I said they're tens of thousands of sugar units long, all chemically bonded together. To break those bonds, the way that the different combinations of 60,000 enzymes do in the body, break them down into short chain fibers that are the size that the microbes take in, which does two things. It makes them more bioactive so that the microbes can access them and do their work that we need so badly. And also, it removes the physical characteristics that make fibers undesirable in food and beverage products. When we take oats, we OneBio take oats and we work to release the short chain fibers out of those oats. Our byproduct is oat milk. When an oat milk producer makes oat milk, their byproduct is fiber.
Yes.
And so yes, we can go into a plant milk brewing plant, take their byproduct and turn it into this highly valuable, highly functional anti-inflammatory fiber and put it into anything. And so we can do that, but also we can use the same equipment that they used to produce the oat milk in the first place to break these fibers down into their short chain, children, so to speak.
If you want to make particular claims about these fibers, because I think you originally pitched yourself as a precision prebiotics company, that would require you or partners to do, I guess, some clinical studies and so on.
First thing that we're working to do is just to get fiber back into the food chain.
Yeah.
It used to be the preponderance of what we humans ate, and now 95% of us are 60 to 90% deficient. And so we're starving our microbiome and really dysregulating our metabolic and immune health. And so the first thing is just correct that profound deficiency in the modern diet, because that's much of the problem. Now, then there's also diversity and precision. And that to us, those are later things to tackle just as we build the company and our capabilities and our product line and everything else. And so it's just about where we start and where we end. And so where we're starting is just, hey, gosh, there's this giant deficiency in the diet, so let's work on that first.
So in the first instance, it would be like, okay, so on the label, it would be apple fiber or oat fiber.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cacao fiber, apple fiber, oat fiber, orange fiber, any of these things.
So if sort of down the road beyond that sort of basic fiber addition, if you were interested in looking at the particular qualities of any one of these fibers, and you wanted to, which would require some kind of clinical study, would that, do you have a model whereby you might partner with some companies that are looking, to develop new prebiotics or?
Yeah, so the way that we are going to market is with our partners. And these are the world's food and beverage companies. They are pharmaceutical companies. They are supplement companies who already have, say, a probiotic, a microbe portfolio, but they want to make those microbes effective by feeding them their food. And so we can help them do all of that because we're the world's experts in how to feed microbes. And not only that, we're the only ones who can take apart and release these short chain fibers, which are what the microbes eat in the first place. So yes, we partner with them. We're actually, we're in the middle of a human study now, which is showing some highly differentiated results relative to anything that's ever been achieved with fibers in the food chain today in processed and ultra-processed food, which is that usually once you get above, at or above 3 grams of inulin or its short chain synthetic cousin phos, those are the primaries in the food chain, you start to see tolerability problems. And so this is the first time it's available in high efficacious anti-inflammatory doses that you cannot perceive.
So tell me just finally about the progress the business has made so far. So when might we see products on shelf that incorporate some of the fibers that are possible through your platform?
Yeah, so we are planning to be on shelf right around this time next year, and we are working with our contract manufacturers and our commercial partners to get there on roughly that schedule.